and welcome back to the most amazing channel on the internet. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and today I'm talking about the top 10 scary Pixar theories. Woo! I love a good Pixar movie, but we know when it comes to Disney at least, things are often darker than they seem. Is it the same for Pixar too? Spoiler, yes it is. Before we get into this video, why don't you guys tell me what your favourite Pixar movie is? I am all ears in the comment section down below. Alright, coming in at number 10, we have the homunculus theory from Cars. Sure, I actually wasn't ready for this. Like, why do theorisy people with their brains need to go around making disturbing theories? Why can't they just enjoy movies? Why? So Disney Pixar's Cars is a great film. I love it. It's set in an alternate kind of universe where humans don't exist, or they don't seem to. Maybe they did one day in the past, but they aren't around anymore. We never meet a human. The only sentient beings seem to be the cars themselves. And boats. I did see some boats. But mainly, it's cars. Hooray for cars. Cars as far as the eye can see. Cool. Weird, but you know, it's a movie, so let's just let it go. Which is what some people should have done. Unfortunately though, some people pointed out that if this is the case, if there are no humans around, then why do the cars have windows, door handles, mirrors, and a steering wheel? These are functions made for humans. Well, a theory goes that humans are actually living inside the cars, and the car outer shell is like a strange exoskeleton. Do you remember the tiny alien in the person's head in Men in Black? It's a bit like that, but creepier. Someone has drawn a physiological diagram of what this would look like, and honestly, I don't like it. You can read pages and pages and pages of theory, and honestly we don't have time for the disturbing ins and outs, but I'll leave you with this. In the theory, they say that humans are lab grown in amniotic vats and then embedded within an automotive exoskeleton. Coming in at number 9, Carl was dead all along in Up. There is one super sad and morbid theory out there that goes that Carl, the lovely grumpy old man, died the night after the courts tell him he has to leave his home in his sleep. Everything else is said to be his adventure to heaven to be with his dead wife Ellie. Russell is said to be his guardian angel, but an angel in practice who needs to earn his wings. In the movie, he needs a badge for assisting the elderly to become a senior wilderness explorer. Now the theory says that Carl's guardian angel is a child because he and Ellie were never able to have one. So sad. The house that Carl and Russell fly away in is said to represent Carl's physical attachment to the present world, and floating up is said to represent his transformation from the real world to the spirit world. Paradise Falls in the movie is said to be the gates of heaven, which Carl eventually reaches. Was he dead this whole time? It seems the theory started on Reddit and ballooned from there. Pardon the pun, I'm honestly just trying to quell my pain with humour. Coming in at number 8, Boo grows up to be a witch. This is a Monsters Inc. and Brave collaboration theory. Right, so this one involves time travel and a bit of a stretch of the imagination, but bear with me. So basically I never thought that cute little Boo would turn out to be the witch in Brave. Like, what? It seems that there is an Easter egg in Brave that has got people cooking up a terrifying theory. It seems that there's a wood carving of a monster that looks a lot like Sully in the witch's cabin. Boo and the witch do after all have the same colour eyes. So basically the theory goes that Boo spent her life looking for Sully, which led her to go through many doors a la Monsters Inc. In the end, one door took her to the past and she learned to time travel. Remember the scene in Brave when the witch goes through a door and disappears? Is it Boo? She'd know how to do this. There are further suggestions that the witch has seen the future. She carves a pizza van from wood. Again, she carves the Sully. Maybe she's looking for him, allegedly. Honestly, I can't fathom Sweet Boo being a baddie, but good theory. Coming into number 7, we have another Monsters Inc. theory. This one is like a collaboration with Monsters Inc. and Toy Story. Is Randall Andy's monster? In the first and second Toy Story movies, Andy is the perfect age for a monster. In Monsters Inc., monsters go around scaring kids just like Andy to help generate power. Now we know that Disney and Pixar love a good Easter egg, and if you look closely, it seems they may have dropped a hint about what goes bump in the night in Andy's room while his toys are sleeping, or motionless. This theory was pointed out by the Super Carlin brothers, who I absolutely love. Have a look at this. Now, this does look a lot like Andy's famous cloud wallpaper, does it not? Also, is this Andy's door in the door lineup? Randall may have been Andy's monster all along. Ugh. Randall. Coming into number 6, Andy's dad was murdered, another Toy Story theory. So we've had a bit of news about this from the Disney Pixar camp, but before we talk about what may have been confirmed or denied, I want to talk about this worrying theory. It seems that a fan of the franchise on Reddit posted that they thought Andy's dad, who we never meet, is dead. It wouldn't be surprising, would it, knowing that Disney is basically the parent killers of the ages, like dead, always dead, at least one parent dead anyway. So the theory goes that Andy's dad was a police officer, but but he was shot and killed on duty, hence Andy's obsession with male authority figures. We see Andy and his family move home. Maybe this is because of his dad's death. Another theory says that he died from polio, but Toy Story creator Andrew Stanton wrote that this was actually complete and utter fake news. What is going on with his dad then? Tell us, Andy. Andrew Stanton. Coming into number 5, Wall-E is actually evil. I actually honestly refuse to believe this one. This is pretty long and it's like quite intense to go into. I just don't want to believe it as well because Wall-E is so cute. Nonetheless, a number of fans out there have pointed out that it is almost impossible for the Earth to become overrun by trash by accident. Some fans say that the Wall-E unit went rogue and destroyed all of the other Wall-E units over a 700-year murder spree. Apparently this is why there is so much waste. There's only one robot around and we see him cannibalizing parts of his fellow units at the beginning of the movie. Wall-E can't be a murderer, can he? Coming in at number 4, Toy Story is an allegory for the Holocaust. Dustin Hoffman of UGO actually drew some pretty convincing parallels between the Holocaust and Toy Story 3. They argue that the toys are a symbol of the Jewish people who were left behind by the Allies in World War II. The toys, as you will remember, try to seek refuge in the attic, striking a reference to Anne Frank. In the end, they are offloaded to the Sunnyside Daycare Center, which turns out to be a lot like a prison or a concentration camp. There's then the whole incinerator scene, which Hoffman links to the final solution and the death camps. Pretty heavy and terrifying stuff. In the end, the toys are saved by well-doing aliens. Now, a lot of Jews were actually freed from concentration camps at the end of the war, although of course 6 million weren't. Some fans who have jumped on the Toy Story Holocaust bandwagon have gone as far as to say that actually, the toys did die in the incinerator and the alien rescue is actually their journey to the afterlife. What about Toy Story 4 then? I don't know. Coming into number 3, Nemo from Finding Nemo is dead. In a Sixth Sense style plot twist, some people think that Nemo is dead. Now, according to a popular internet theory, Nemo also died when his mum was killed in the shark attack at the beginning. Basically, Nemo's mum and all of their eggs were killed at the very beginning of the movie except for one. Nemo. Basically though, the theory says that it was all in Marlin's head, and in an attempt to cope with the tragedy, he imagined one of the eggs was left. Now he dreams up Nemo, a dependent fish who in theory would never leave him, but it all goes wrong, such are the lows of depression. In the end, Marlin accepts his grief. Apparently Nemo means nothing in Latin, and some theorists basically went from there. We have another Finding Nemo theory up next. This one is actually even more horrifying, so kids, please close your ears for the love of all things holy. Coming into number 2, Nemo would have had sex with his... Actually, do you know what? I just can't say it. I'm not gonna say it. I won't. So basically this is both a theory and a biological fact. Nemo is a clownfish. All clownfish are born as hermaphrodites with both sexual organs. They develop into male or females depending on their social experience, and in the clownfish world, females are dominant. Who run the world? Female clownfish, that's who. But basically they can also change sex when need be. It seems if Nemo's mum had died, Marlin, his dad, would have turned into a female to become more dominant and protect his offspring. Then his dad turned mum and Nemo would have mated because fish don't understand incest. Then, if Nemo's dad / mum had died, Nemo would have changed into a female and mated with another male. Cool. Sometimes science is scarier than a horror movie. Finally, coming into number 1, we have the dead friends theory. There's a lot of Toy Story in this list, but let's face it, Toy Story is the most popular Pixar creation, and there are 3 of the movies, soon to be 4. So as we know, in the world of Toy Story, toys drop down motionless when humans come into a room. Humans play with the toys and the toys pretend not to be sentient. Well, have you ever thought about this? Illumise wrote on Tumblr, if the toys in Toy Story died, the kids would keep playing with them like normal, but the other toys would be playing with their dead friends. What the hell? Honestly, what the hell indeed? My question is though, can toys in Toy Story die? Like, if they're dropped from a great height, would that kill a toy? Like, probably not. So unless they're burnt like they almost were, how can they die anyway? Although I think back and I remember the mutant toys, like, I guess that's pretty messed up. Sid was a horrible, horrible kid. They're kind of like living corpses, a bit human centipede-y, but in Toy Story this is so dark and none of them can speak. So dark. Honestly, Pixar, you've done it again. So guys, that was the top 10 scary Pixar theories. What did you think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section down below. And should we do other movie theories. I actually am kind of into it, so, and we're a creepy place and you love creepy videos, so let me know. Thank you guys for tuning into this video. Do make sure you leave a thumbs up on it, share it with a friend, and stay subscribed for more most amazing lists. I'm your host Rebecca Felgate, and I'll see you next time.